If Leo Burnett was a person, he or she would have had the most loaded and illustrious resume in recent times. So let me ask the man who helped build it. Till recently, he was the CEO of Leo Burnett South Asia. And now he's the CEO of FCB Group India. Dheeraj is here. Thank you for joining me, Dheeraj.
Thank you, Neeta. Great to be here.
So tell me, when did you feel that your job there was over and the resume couldn't get fatter under your watch?
No, I think honestly, I never felt like that. Never felt that my job at Leo Burnett was over. Right? I mean, we can say that there's a certain chapter which has been written, and I have that sense of comfort and closure. But I never felt that it's done and there's not more that I could do. I could go on doing lots more. There's always an evolving goal and there's always more to do at a certain place. So I don't think this shift is triggered by an emotion that, I'm done here and I need to move on and do something else.
You were thrown into the deep end shortly a year after you were elevated as the MD. I mean, I'm talking about the time when Saurabh Verma quit. Now, there was a lot of negativity in the market then. Would you say bringing the agency out of troubled waters was one of your earliest achievements?
See, I think in last 7 years, and I'll talk more personally and individually because I'm in a very interesting position right now. I don't represent Leo Burnett and I don't yet represent FCB, so I'm in no man's land like an independent professional for some time. So I think for the last 7 years, I would say that I've had a dramatic transformation myself, right? I mean, I was a strategist. As a strategist, you work at best with 25, 50 people. I used to run the APAC strategy for Bates and then for Gray. And my team across Asia Pacific was about 50 people, right? And as a strategist, you are responsible for a vertical, right? You do your job and you get out. But as a CEO, you're responsible for 700 people. You're responsible for the smiles. You're responsible for the salary which gets credited in their account, and there's fees to be paid. It's a completely different sense of responsibility that you get. And that transition, and especially with COVID hitting in, I started looking at cash flow, which I had never done because I was worried, how much money do we have and can we continue to pay salaries of people? Because at that point in time, nobody knew how we are going to come out of it. And slowly you realize you're responsible for how the toilets are, you're responsible for, new business, you're responsible for client escalation, you're responsible for growth, you're responsible for happiness, health, everything on the floor, right? And kind of, as I say that when you have a child, the child turns you into a parent, right? The child gives birth to a father or a mother. I think similarly, my people gave birth to the leader in me, right? I wasn't this person 7 years back, right? And through this journey of COVID, of transitions, of learning, how to be a leader, I think it's been a very, very rich journey. And therefore, I don't feel that I leave Leo Burnett. I feel that I'm taking with me all the experiences, love, relationships, partnerships. So that's the emotion I'm at right now.
But what really forced your hand when it came to making that switch from one of the most successful agencies in India today? And why did you really pick FCB?
Yeah, I think there's this whole idea of serial entrepreneurs, right? I wish there was this idea of serial builders. I'd like to see myself like that, right? And my whole, I'm committed to the idea of creativity and humanity. I feel in this decade, our hands will be forced to choose who our master really is. Is AI and technology our master? Is data our master? Or is humanity and creativity our master? Right? I think there will be polarization on these schools of thought, and I am on the side of saying that humanity and creativity is the master, and everything else is to the service of creativity. So data is to the service of creativity. AI is to the service of creativity. Technology is to the service of creativity. And my ambition is, and my vision is of an organization where creativity and strategic thinking And completely upstream ideas of this is at its peak. So you're solving for very, very high-end client problems and human problems. And then you have a suite of services. You have digital, you have performance, you have production, you have video, you have experience to bring that alive. So that's the simple structure which is in my mind. And when FCB started talking to me globally, both Tyler and Susan, I realized their commitment to creativity and what they say, creativity as an economic multiplier, right? Of showing that creativity can actually transform businesses, right? And I really began to like that idea. I found the network very authentic, genuine, wanting to bring about real change in the world. So some of those conversations went very well, and I felt that I could give this a shot.
And it's also a very close-knit network, what I understand. And
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously you're joining from one big company to another, which is really old and historic, if I could say call it so.
Yeah.
We're talking about legacies, and Rohit has
Yeah.
clearly left behind a great one there at FCB.
Yeah.
Now, what is it about FCB that you truly admire? And I'm asking not just now because you're joining, but I'm talking about the time over the years when you were a competitor fighting for the same awards for the same clients.
Yeah.
Where did you feel that FCB always had that edge?
Yeah, I think one thing which always stood out for FCB, not just when I was at Leo Burnett or from the time that I've joined the business, is that they hold their clients very tight, right? They hug the clients very tight. If you look at some of the relationships, they're so old, right? I mean, it's amazing how an agency has managed to build brands over decades, right? And I'm sure there have been changes in the agency in terms of personnel. There have been changes at the client and at the personal level, because that's the truth of life. But the relationship has been intact, and some of those brands are huge brands, very, very successful. So that's the first thing which stands out in my mind. Early days, growing up in advertising, in fact, at Mica, for example, FCB was known for fantastic strategy, right? I mean, there were stories on how, FCB people know their clients' sales chart and the positioning curve better than the client. Yeah, there's were those stories at Mica about FCB. So always being seen as a very rock solid, strategy led agency, holds the clients very strong to their hearts. I think with Rohit and Swati and the whole gang coming on board, and all of this from outside, I think they've also been through a huge creative transformation, right? So you've seen FCB shine on the creative map. So those are the two things which stands out for me from outside. I haven't yet started getting in, and I'm sure there are many more truths to be unveiled. And if we are having this conversation a few months later, I'll be much more richer on this point.
Let me try and put you in trouble. What is it that you don't like at FCB?
What is that I don't like at FCB? That's a very hard question. I've not even joined. See, honestly, I'm right now trying to refrain myself from thinking what I want to change, because see, I've been a strategist all my life, right? And what's the core of a strategist? You take a brand and you understand the core of the brand, right? If you want to solve or for a brand or an opportunity without understanding the core of the brand, you will fail, right? I mean, if you try to do something with Apple which is not Apple like, you will fail, right? If you like that, or you try to do something with Spotify which is not Spotify, you will fail, right? So that's been my biggest life learning. So my first job would be to understand the core and the code of FCB on what kicks, right? And only then can you say, okay, this works well. Let's amplify this like a graphic equalizer, that we are very good at this. Can we take this to peak? Can we take this to maximum, right? And you know what? There are some muscles that we are weak at, and can we work harder on those muscles, right? So that is how my mind works, whether I'm building cultures or whether I'm building brands.
Makes sense. Another thing is, you have a very Jai Viru-like partnership with Raj. So how difficult is it going to be to recreate something similar at FCB?
Yeah. I mean, Raj and I are like brothers, and I don't think that changes ever, right? That relationship is forever, right? And it's hard that we won't be working together again, that we won't be walking the client rooms in the same way. So it's hard for him, it's hard for me, right? But having said that, I think what this relationship has taught me is, for example, how to put yourself behind and let somebody else shine. Both for me and Raj, we've time and again taken turns to do that. Sometimes I put myself behind and him ahead. Sometimes he's put himself behind, put me ahead. We've stood up for each other. Sometimes I have fumbled and he stood up. Sometimes he's fumbled and I have stood up. Those are learnings on how you create partnerships, how you create meaningful relationships, to create a safe environment between two people. A sense that I have your back, come what may, right? And I think those are the principles that go along in building creative business or creative strategy partnerships. And that's a very strong POC of having done that in a very, very successful way. So I'm completely sure that there'll be more partnerships like that.
And you have three here. You have Swati, you have Robbie, and you have Keegan. So have you met them? Have you interacted already or in a big way?
No, we haven't met yet. I mean, Keegan, I know from my past life. We had a stint at Bates together, so I know him in Bates. So I'm looking forward to that. Swati, I have kind of seen her and admired her from outside as an industry professional. Robbie, I've heard fantastic and great things about him. So I'm really looking forward to those interactions. Yeah.
There's another thing which I also asked Rohit. There's a marked difference when it comes to the kind of work Leo Burnett does versus FCB.
Yeah.
One was very tech and product led, where you're creating something. Yeah. And FCB was has always been very emotion led. Now, with you coming in, which of these will overpower the other?
See, the way I see it, Neeta, is that, everything is to the service of a problem that you're solving. Or an opportunity that you're leveraging, right? So there could be a business problem you're solving for. There could also be a human problem you're solving for. Like, say, in case of Whisper, we're solving for girls falling out of school because of not understanding menstruation, and therefore bringing the missing chapter back. Right now, it's a human problem you're solving, but which also works for the business. Right? So that's the beauty of our business, because we deal with human beings, we deal with people, we deal with lives, right? So many a times there is a fantastic intersection of human problems and opportunities and business problems and opportunity. And then I feel that the beauty of our times today versus, say, 20 years back is that the palette that we can use is so rich. You could solve those problems using technology. You could solve those problems using data. You could solve those problems using video. You could solve those problems using experience. Right? And you could solve these problems using a combination, layers of this, right? So it really doesn't have to be either or, right? Also, it doesn't have to be by force that you have to use only one lens all the time. I think the reason I love this business, right, still message me, oh my God, you're still in love with advertising? Yes, I'm still in love with advertising, because there is so much more to do. When I was born in this business, you could only play with words and images, right? You could do a print ad, you could do a hoarding, you could do a video. Today, you could use tech, you could use data, you can build a product, right? And that's the beauty. The palette is so rich. At the same time, you do a fantastic and beautiful advertising campaign like Spotify, and people love that as well. So the width is where my joy is. And I would say, let's use the entire width, not focus ourselves only on a part of the palette. And let's be true to the problem or the opportunity that we're solving for.
Okay, so as I had a conversation with yesterday, and from what I understood, he was referring to you as a trump card when it comes to digital focus for FCB. So how I get it is, creativity powered by data and technology is the dream, and that is obviously the dream of every agency today, traditional ones especially. Now, I know you're getting started, and you made it a reality at Leo Burnett over time. What is the timeline that you've given yourself to make this happen at FCB? The transformation of course.
I feel like I'm talking to my boss. Honestly, no timeline set. No timeline set, right? I think I realized my learning, Neeta, has been that you bury your head down, right? You build an environment, you set a goal, you enumerate advocates, right? Because any big achievable goal has to be done with a team, right? Uh, you know, uh, Susan and I were having a conversation the other day, and we were referring to Ted Lasso,
Okay.
right? And how you build a team, and how you everybody has a role in it, and everybody plays, and everybody succeeds together in a happy way. So I think my focus will be that. My focus, I'm not working to a timeline. I think once things begin to fall in place, you begin to see the green shoots of success. And uh, I think we also have a place in hand where a lot is going right? So the work is good, clients are there, it's a happy place. So I'll have to go in and see, what to catalyze and how to catalyze. Uh, I think it'll be a wrong strategy to work to a timeline, right?
And because we're talking about bosses, and networks are under immense revenue pressure, and this is going to be the
Yes,
first time, if I correct me if I'm wrong, that you will be directly reporting to a global boss.
that's right. Yes.
So does that excite you or make you nervous?
See, I think it excites me because I think Tyler and I have had lots of conversations. He's a great guy, straight shooter. I like that. Right. What it also allows me to do is to be a lot more closely knit with the global network. Right. So there isn't any lines of separation. There could be flow of talent from here to there. I mean, for example, my one of my ideas is that if you're a global agency, why isn't there more flow of talent in and out? Right? I mean, so some of those ideas are being discussed. So I think this relationship will actually be an advantage. I will learn more. I'll be able to leverage the globality of FCB as a network for India, and I'm actually looking forward to the whole model.
Fantastic. And just as one last question, which are the clients that you're really looking forward to working on top of agenda? I mean, who are the ones you really, really admire at FCB?
See, I haven't. So that's the whole beauty of this, right? The announcements have been made, but we haven't really sat down with a granular client list or challenges or any of that. So it'll be unfair for me to call out any client right now. What I do see from outside is a fantastic roster of really really large and very very successful clients, right? And my policy always has been that if you are a part of my agency, right, you are as important as anybody else. I mean, that's how I've always worked in my life. So I've never had a favorite client or a hierarchy of who gets more importance than the other, right? And I actually use a slightly morbid example there. Is that it's like a hospital model, or it's like a doctor, right? I mean, when you walk into a hospital or you walk to a doctor, the fact that you're in, it's my job to make sure that you're healthy and happy, right? And that's how I see all my clients. I think as a leader of an organization, it's my job to see that all clients are healthy and happy and growing and getting the importance, irrespective of their size, scale. That's been my policy ever, always, and that's been my answer to any client who said that will I get the importance in your agency.
Fabulous. I think the clients and we, all of us, are looking forward to seeing your inning play out. If I could take creative liberties, I would say going from the power of one to the power of family, a closely knit FCB family. All the best, Dheeraj.
Thank you so much, Neeta. Thank you.